lounging, son.
Welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name's Ryan, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different type of video. I'm not going to actually be going through all of this. I will show the covers off, but this is... I'll flip through the first issue, let you guys check out the rest on your own. But I did just want to do a quick spotlight on this series, this Justice Society of America book from the early 90s by Len Strazewski Mike Parobeck. It is so much fun. The only reason I even know about this, which is, I did know about it before, but I never had read it and I never really knew much. I did have this issue growing as a kid, issue 3. I remember having it, but it didn't really it didn't have that much of an effect on me. It wasn't until later that I became a fan of the Justice Society when, Jeff Johns and Dave Goyer did that in, the late 90s into the early 2000s and stuff like that. My homeboy, Craig C.K., who I'm friends was mentioning this, how it's an underrated series and it doesn't get enough love. I was searching for it, and it wasn't very cheap to get it, but I was able to get a full run. It's only 10 issues, this run. But it's cool because it's like the Justice Society, as it says right here, the original super team returns home again. So they've been gone for a while and now they are back. And obviously, like Crisis on Infinite Earths in the late 80s or mid 80s, folded in all the Golden Age heroes within the same continuity, so there was no more multiple Earths, whereas they were prior to this on Earth 2. So I will flip through the first issue and show off the rest of the covers. And I love the way it opens up. It's just, first of all, newsprint. Love newsprint. I say this every time I'm talking about an old comic. I love the smell of it, all that stuff. We come and we're at Gotham Stadium, and we have a father or a grandpa and a grandkid, and he's like, I tell you, Justin, they were something to see in their prime. So these are heroes, these are elderly heroes, right? So they had their time in the spotlight, and so maybe the new generation doesn't know them, isn't as familiar with them. He's like, and then he's just he's like saying to him, I wasn't that much older than you when they first came up. Then we see Clark Kent, Lois Lane. They're here to see them. Here to see the return of the team, and we get the JSA. We get the classic team. We get Wildcat. We get Hawkman and Hawkwoman, Alan Scott Green Lantern, Jay Garrick Flash, Al Pratt Atom, Dr. Midnight, Hourman, Starman, Sandman, and Johnny Thunder. And I love Lois's line, they look great, Clark, but I expected them to be older, more frail. And then we get. So you don't need to know much going into this. You see, like Clark says, they were rejuvenated in a magical dimension, which took place in Armageddon Inferno number 4, as it says right there, which I miss that. I love when they do little callbacks to comics. They don't do it as much anymore, but I've always loved that. Because then it was always fun to go seek those out as a kid, which is something I always used to do. I'd write it down and then go find that issue and, kind of fall down a rabbit hole of all that stuff. Just some really great moments. He's lost in thought and he's thinking about, what an inspiration to a young man in his line of work. And we get the mayor, welcoming them back. And, as they say, a journey that boggles the imagination. But really what they're going to say as they introduce everyone. Oh, Hawk Girl. That's right. I always forget. Sometimes they switch between Hawkman and Hawkwoman, but this iteration is Hawk Girl. And, Alan Scott, even, his inner dialogue, do we really need all this? I've got a wife and a company to get back to. Jay's talking about Joan and how he'll be home soon. And our man, this is my last hurrah. No more Miracle for me. I wonder if Al feels as silly as I do. I wonder if Ted feels as silly as I do. It's cool to see them being honored as they come back and they've been gone. But then we see this mysterious, this crazy looking monster guy ripping out from the ground. And the JSA comes immediately to the rescue of everybody there. But you can see Sandman, he's older, so his health is not all there. And so he gets kind of taken down by his own heart issues, and Superman comes in and kind of makes quick work of it. Mayor's safe, evacuation underway, what next? And there's really, not much to do because Superman took care of everything. And this is them questioning, well, with him around, what do they need guys like us for? And, Superman's, sorry, had to disrupt your retirement party. Sandman he had a stroke. So he gets taken down. He's going to be taken into the hospital. And we have a great scene of, several months later, the team has been retired. Jay and Alan are talking about it. And we see this woman walk in. You'll find out in later issues is Jessie Quick. And she's introduced in this series. And she's Johnny Quick's daughter. And she ends up becoming like a major player in the Flash run in the 90s with Mark Waid. And I just think it's funny. Like they're fighting against retirement. Like they don't want to stop being superheroes. And that'll be like prevalent throughout this entire series. And I think it's, kind of funny that they slowly get back together and they become a team. Yes, this run only lasted 10 issues. And I kind of wish it would have gone more. But the sales weren't there. I don't think the 90s or early 90s was kind to this type of book, right? Like it was a little bit of a darker period. Like a lot of characters had like an edge to them, and the Justice Society is not that. And it would have been disingenuous if they did that to this team. So I'm glad they didn't. But it was a fun run. Really love the art. Has like a classic but modern feel at the same time. And as they go, you see Jessie Quick because throughout this run, she's like writing a dissertation for school on, the superheroes. So she's kind of like not stalking them, but spying on them and kind of writing about them. And I love seeing these characters come to the rescue of people, making quick work of all these criminals and realizing that they still got a lot left in the tank, like they don't have to retire. And it's a great end to the first issue. Retirement, not, and then they go on and then, again, the team's going to be reborn over the course of the 10 issues. I love this kind of history of the Justice Society, going all the way back to their debut in All-Star Comics and All-American Comics with, Starman and Hourman. All-American Comics with Green Lantern and the Atom, Starman and Hourman and Adventure, Spectre and Dr. Fate and More Fun, Flash and Hawkman and Flash Comics. So, Mark Waid, keeper of knowledge, as he's referring to himself here as, gives the whole laydown, dude. Gives the whole rundown of the entire history of the JSA. He does little paragraphs on the main characters of the team. Super fun, super informative. And it just, again, like I kind of wish I would have read this sooner because I'm a huge fan of the Justice Society. But that's the great thing about comics is that you can constantly discover old stuff. There's always something always something new to discover. And when I say new, I put that in air quotes because these are old, but there's so much in the history of comics that is fun to kind of go back and look at. Thank you, Craig, for, recommending this. When I saw you post about it, I couldn't stop thinking about it, and, some really great covers. Love seeing the classic JSA going at it, and just phenomenal going against the Ultra Humanite. And Mike Parobeck is an artist that I'm not super familiar with, but man, dude, what a great artist. And again, Jessie Quick makes her debut in this series. She was always one of my favorite. This was a great one. Guy Gardner versus Alan Scott. Really fun issue. And then it caps off with this issue 10 of the, last hurrah. But it wasn't the last hurrah for this team because they do go on to come back and have a really long running series. Basically through, I would say it lasted at least 11, 12 years. If you can find this run, I highly recommend it. Super fun, well written, great art, and a cool little snapshot at what this team was in the 90s before it became what maybe some of, I would say my generation kind of knows them more from the Jeff Johns stuff, but great series. Make sure you pick it up. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you're notified every time a new vid drops. And on that note, I'm out.